Okay, so this is Ian here with the Hawaii Project with recent Illinois 3A state champion Soren Knudsen of Minoka High School. Soren ran an impressive 14:02 to win his title back in November at Detweiler Park. So I heard you had a really good warm-up heading into the race, around 5 to 10 minutes, averaging 5 minutes per mile. Do you usually do something like that before every race, or what? What other types of warm-ups do you go through on race day?
Yeah, so usually before my races, and this is just something I've found through experimentation, that I really like to get stuff closer to my tempo pace or my race pace in my warm up. So that usually helps me adjust earlier on in the race. And I do slightly, a pretty good workload, and I do a lot of quality in practice. So it's nothing I can't handle or that's foreign to me. So that just works really well with me racing, and it gets me adjusted really quick. So yeah, that's what I've been doing this year.
Do you find that it helps you loosen up more heading into the race and not having to stretch as much because you are able to do that?
Yeah, totally. It's sometimes it can come back a little bit at the end of a race, and throughout the year I adjusted how much of this I did, and I basically got it pinpointed down the last month of the season. So yeah, it worked out really well. Warm up was down pat.
Okay, can you take me through the race and how it played out?
Yeah. Overall, it was kind of like a normal state race for us. We always have really fast first mile at our state meet, and so it went out in 4:32, and I was actually or yeah, maybe 4:33, 4:35, something like that. I was a little bit uncomfortable, which is kind of odd at that pace. That's kind of what I was going out at for most of the year, so that was a little scary. Maybe it was just nerves or something like that. And then the pack started to come down to about 4 or 5 kids at around a mile and a half. And we got to 2 miles at 9:28, and it was down once again to 5 of us. And then a big move was made at 2.1, and I followed in. And then at 1,200 meters to go, I took the lead, and I got about a 5-second gap with 400 meters to go, and I held that all the way to the finish.
In that like sprint finish, did you think that you weren't gonna get it, or was there any point where you knew that you're gonna win the race?
Yeah, I mean, coming up the final straight, it's just one in Illinois. It's just one 600-meter huge straight up a little hill to the finish. So Um, there weren't any like turns or anything I had to worry about. It was just going straight towards the finish, and it was kind of unbelievable at first. And around maybe 150 to go, I started to realize that I had a big enough gap to where there was pretty much no way that anyone could catch me. And so yeah, final thoughts going into the last 150 was just don't get nipped at the line. So 25 seconds out, that's pretty much where I knew I had it, and that felt really good.
Your father, he won the same race back in 1981, like 35 years
hmm
ago. So what does it mean to you that you were able to follow in the footsteps of your father, of your family's legacy, and make history as Illinois' first father-son duo
Yeah,
to win
totally.
state titles?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It definitely put a bigger spotlight on us than I expected. I didn't really realize how big of a deal it was until afterwards. So it definitely just speaks to what how we are as a family. We're just very very competitive people, and yeah, it's just something he's passed from me as a father to a son.
Do you guys like still talk about it, and is he like extremely proud about you now?
Yeah, he's definitely very proud. I try to, I try and always look ahead. I don't look back, even if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm always trying to look ahead. So I don't try and think about state too much because nothing's guaranteed in the future. So yeah, just working for what's ahead really.
If you could go back to that day and change something that happened during the race, what would it be?
Um, the last 200 meters, I looked back like 3 times, and my time being 14:02. Sometimes I kind of think maybe I could have broke 14 minutes if I didn't look back. Um, But I mean, like I said, I don't like to think like that too much. But if there was something, it would definitely be that.
Is that still to this day your like crowning achievement of your career?
Um, yeah, I'd say so. I had won some big races during the year, but obviously nothing's, states states to meet that everyone looks at. So.
In track last year, you ran 4:17 to place third in the 1600 final, but a day earlier
Mhm.
you ran 4:16 in the prelims. So, do you think that it was a result of running too quick to qualify, or because you tried to take the race from 400 meters out that you only placed third?
Yeah, that was definitely a pretty complex situation. Um, Everyone had run like a different amount of races that day, so I really didn't know how I was gonna play my strategy. So I kind of took the lead at a stupid part because of basically there was a lot of wind, and so I took the lead going straight into the wind. So that was a big problem. And then the conditions the day of the final were a lot worse than the day of the prelim, so that kind of skews it and makes it look like my time was worse. But really, I probably wouldn't have changed anything in the prelim, and it got my confidence up winning my prelim in 4:16. So, I mean, yeah, I maybe would have ran a second faster and got second instead of third, but that's just something you can't change. That's just something you got to learn from. So, definitely happy that happened my junior year, not my senior year.
Yeah, so like still when you look back at it, are you are you still like proud that you got third, or because it's like more of like a learning experience than it is,
Mhm.
yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, definitely was a huge learning experience, like you said. And I mean, I think I should have got second in that race. Sean Torpy was the one who won that year, and he ended up running like a 4:04 full mile. So I don't think there was any way that I could have taken him my junior year, but I think I could have definitely improved my position, got second if I would have just run a smarter race the day of and the day before. So yeah, it's just something huge I've learned from.
mhm. So you have a solid amount of leg speed, holding an 800 PR of 156.70, 153 if you count your split in a 4 by 8. But was your focus for last season, was it more on the mid distances or was on the 3200? And what goals did you set for yourself to motivate your season?
Yeah, I went into the season definitely thinking sub 9 in the 3200, and we put a lot of focus on the 3200. And so indoors, I ran some good times in the 3200, and then um, kind of got some injuries racking up and kind of lost a little bit of aerobic fitness going into outdoor season. So I ran a few 3200s outdoors, but all the focus was pretty much shifted towards the mile and the 4 by 8. So yeah, all the workouts were kind of adjusted from April all the way out to June, a bit shorter and faster, and kind of forgetting about the 3200.
You said that it was kind of like a main focus for you in indoor season and maybe a little bit in the earlier parts of your outdoor season. So do you think that it's going to be the same way this year? I know, yeah, I know that you're not going to be running indoor, but do you think that you're going to focus again on the 3200 in the beginning?
It's really hard to say. I just right now, I'm just main focus definitely just getting healthy. I think I'd like to run the 4 by 8 in the mile, maybe the open 8. But 3200, it's just as likely as happening. So I just have to see how my training pans out and see what I can get done aerobically and anaerobically. So yeah, right now it's really up in the air.
Hmm. So you've had some experience on a larger stage when you ran the 32 at Arcadia, but I
Hmm.
assume your crowning achievement in your career came from a week after your state meet when you raced at the Nike Festival of Miles and set a new PR for the 1600 of 4:08 and the full mile in 4:10. Was that the moment that you realized that you could compete with the best on a national level?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I really didn't expect that to happen. If you kind of like go back and look through my results, I ran between like 4:15 and 4:19 the entire year, and so I kind of thought like I could go down to this cool race and run like 4:12, 4:14, get a nice PR out of it. And then as the race went on, I just kept feeling better and better. I ran like 59 seconds or 60 seconds my last lap, and yeah, I ran 4:08, and that was huge. And that, yeah, I'd definitely say that's when I kind of realized that. I was a lot closer to my goals than I thought. And so I don't think that's when I found out that I could compete with the nation's best. I think that was junior cross country season. But it definitely made me realize I'm a lot closer than I thought. It gave me a lot of encouragement for senior cross country.
Mhm. So, uh, you placed right before Connor Lundy and or like right after him, and so
Hmm.
like he was kind of far ahead in the last home straight, but then he kind of like faded back towards the end. So, do you still think it's like really cool that you were able to place right behind him and he was able to like, come in third at Edinburgh like last week? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, so
yeah,
you think it's
totally.
really cool, yeah.
Yeah, that finishing that race right behind him, it was really funny. Like afterward, I kind of like looked in front of me. I was like, "Is that Connor Lundy?" So it was definitely cool to finish behind him, and like you see this year, made it to the NCAA's as an individual, and yeah, ran at World Junior XCs. Like that's yeah, it's totally honorable to finish right behind someone who went on to do things like that.
So entering into the race, did you feel like you had to perform better since the meet itself has so much history behind it because it's where Grant Fisher broke 4 for the first time in 2015?
I really went into that race with no pressure, but the environment surrounding that race, I was on the line and I was like, yeah, I can understand why Grant Fisher broke 4 here. It was really electric, and the crowd was going crazy, and you were such great competition. And yeah, I mean, overall the environment and the pressure there, it's really good, and it makes a lot of sense why there's been such great performances there.
Do you think that you're gonna head back to some more of those big meets just to get a little bit more of that environment that'll help you push you to faster time in like competition and in the crowd?
Yeah, I'm thinking I might just only run festival miles this summer, and the reason for that is I want to put my best foot forward for my first year of NCAA cross country. So I don't want to take 2-3 weeks of running high level high school meets to get decent PRs when I could be building my mileage up and getting better for my first year in college, which is what's mostly on my mind right now.
So is your new program this year, is it gonna be more geared towards so it's probably gonna be more towards your college than like you wanna
Yeah.
yes, so you're not gonna think more about PRs, but more about
Hmm.
how you can like contribute to the next year's season?
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's that's where the next step is. So obviously still in high school right now, I still want to improve, but I want to do it on a program that's going to be best for me in the future.
Mhm. So, FloTrack recently labeled you as one to watch heading into the new year to break 4 in the mile, since you're one of the few that can actually possess the potential to do so. So, what does it mean for you to be on that list, and do you think it might actually happen this year in the outdoor season?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, to be named out there, and it means a lot. And it's so hard to say. I've had a really bouncy winter of training. Um, just not a lot of consistency. It's hard to say. I have this habit of surprising myself all the time, so I'm not going to say yes or no, but with me, really anything's possible. Um, but I'm going to go through this track season. Like I said, I'm going to have more than one focus. I'm going to be thinking about improving myself and getting a jump start on becoming the best college freshman I can be.
Definitely. So what are you changing about track this year that'll focus on your events and help you to try to win another state title?
Yeah, this year I think we're just going to try and go at it with a more gradual build up, because last year I came into the season with a lot of excitement and maybe built up too quickly and racked up 2, 3, 4 injuries by the time we got to May. And so, although I did have some really good workouts, some really good weeks here and there, it would have meant a lot more if I were able to just build that up gradually. And that's what I was able to do this senior cross country season. And I think that's definitely the difference of my result from this year compared to previous years. I was really good. I was really methodical, and I gradually built things up. So that's definitely what I'm looking to do this year.
Um, so What's your 400 PR, and do you plan on adding more speed to your program?
um, I've run 55 a few times in workouts. I think I ran like 54 or 53 in a race before. So I'm not really like the fastest guy, sprint wise. And the speed, I'm not really too worried about. I have good tired speed. Like at the end of races, I always have a good kick. And I can kick from really far out. But I don't have like that top end speed. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. I'm going to use my tired speed to my advantage and not really worry about the top end side of things.
Do you do tempo runs, and how have they contributed to, like, maybe getting to that speed towards the end of the race and your
Yeah,
endurance?
I do a lot of tempo runs, a lot of tempo workouts as well, like different split up ones. And I like to do 20, 25, 30-minute tempos. Um, those are usually I do those later in the off season, so like July, August for cross country, January, February for track. And yeah, that's probably most I'd mostly contribute that to why I do have that tired speed and that strength throughout my races, because I'm able to execute those good tempo workouts in the off season. That definitely, building those up throughout months and months, it gets you really strong. And so that's definitely what I attribute to having that tired speed.
So next year for college, I heard you're attending Northern Ari Northern Arizona University.
Hmm.
So, did you have a college visit to the school, and what made you wanna go there?
Yeah, yeah. I went on an official visit there. I knew a lot about the college before visiting. It was kind of like when I was like really young, I always wanted to run for NAU, and then went on a college visit there, and honestly, within 30 minutes, I just fell in love with it. And I knew Northern Arizona was the place for me. So,
Is it, how is how's Coach Smith, and what do you think that his program can do for you, and why?
yeah, Coach is a great guy, and obviously a huge reason that I'm coming there. He gets straight to the point. He's bold, and that's how I like it. And the guys are great. I feel like I'm part of a family there, and being up in altitude and being with a bunch of guys who have like-minded mindsets, I think there's nothing better for me. So yeah, I think they have everything there is to offer for me, and hopefully I can say the same for them.
Mhm. So, I know that you've encountered a lot of fame from your YouTube videos that you post, and so you have 2 YouTube channels. One of them is for short films, sometimes related to running, sometimes about kind of societal issues and global issues, and the other
Hmm.
one is for your races, a lot from track season last year. So, do you plan on
Yeah,
majoring in a film studies or anything related to the film industry?
yeah, definitely trying to work something out with that right now. And yeah, it's the second biggest passion in my life besides running, and it's something I really want to do for the rest of my life. So yeah, I'm trying to do that, work on that through my YouTube channel right now. And yeah, hopefully I can study film or something like that next year at NAU, and further what I have going right now.
Hmm. So, the videos that you make, they tend to have a lot of meaning about like people of all ages nowadays. And so,
Hmm.
what made you want to use your YouTube channel and your fan base to kind of promote change in a way?
Yeah, I mean, some of these videos that you're talking about, they're on topics that I'm really passionate about, and really it's the passion that's driving it. It's not the video. So I like making videos, and I'm really passionate about these subjects. So it's good practice, and it's the biggest thing is just relaying my passion of these topics into a video. And so it's really good practice, and the more you do it, the better you get. And so that's really what I'm trying to get at right now.
Hmm. Some of those videos, they they have your workouts in them. Like, I know
Hmm.
one of them was of you running like a half marathon to get from like one town to the next, or
Yeah, yeah.
and then one of them was vacation and you just went running somewhere. So, do you think that, like, does it ever occur to you that, like, that these videos will actually, like, help people train and not just they're not just about, like, issues, like, they're just about promoting your love of running, and do you think that that's something that needs to be out there?
Um, I never really like thought of it that way, but I've definitely had some people tell me before, like, dude, I watched your video. It's really cool. I did the same workout. And so, yeah, I think if there's like a demand for that, then it's cool that it's out there for people to watch. And so, yeah, I guess I'm happy I did it for that reason too. I haven't thought much about that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
So, you've so, like, through through the past maybe half of a year, you've, like, supported the Hawaii project.
hmm
We kinda, like, launched in July, but what the Hawaii project is about made you wanna stand behind the site, and is it 'cause it expresses a desire to change the state of running in Hawaii, or is it for some other reason?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a believer that there's talent everywhere, and outside of talent, like running is something that anyone can get into, and it's if you can find it and take it seriously and really become enveloped in it, like I and like plenty other people have, it's something that can honestly change your life. And it's so cool to see that, like with my teammates who make a decision to just, okay, I'm going to start training hard. I want to get better, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. And I think really anywhere you go, you can find people who are willing to be a part of that movement. And so the development of Hawaii, yeah, that's something that's really cool. And I've proven that like through my support of the Hawaii project. Like I think that's really cool. And just yeah, I mean the movement of people getting better and running and taking things seriously and having it change your life. That's what I love to see.
If you could help running in Hawaii in any way, what would it be, and how would you go about doing so?
Um, I'm not sure how I would go about it, but it's all about just education and motivation is what I think. So, I mean, if people can just learn as much as they can and find things to motivate them, and sometimes that's the hard part, but finding those things and it's what develops you as a person and a runner. And it's just, yeah, it's beautiful to see.
Okay, thank you for your time, Soren. I hope your injury doesn't cause any issues in the rest of your high school career.
hmm
But
Yeah.
on behalf of the Hawaii Project, we express support of your running, and we are grateful for your contribution towards change in Hawaii.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ian. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. I'll talk to you later, man.
Uh,
Okay, bye.